Remember Me by Elope to the Sea on AO3. Episode 14. Chapter 10. Epilogue. Ochako stared at the wall in her seal. There was not much left she could see. It was tiny. Had a bed, a table, guards passing by the bars every few seconds. Prison, huh? Was nicer than she thought. It was cleaner than the arcade, and bigger than her house. She couldn't say she hated it if she had to come here often. 63, 64, 65. She counted in a really low voice. As she reached 70, she heard footsteps at the distance. 74, 75. A guard walked in front of the bars. A smile spread in her face. 76 seconds. She reaffirmed herself. She stared at the wall. Hey, Ingenium. You've been quiet. From the other cell, Ingenium answered. I'm not feeling great. No, come on, Uraraka said, not bothering to move from her place. Why are you so down? We failed him, Ingenium said. Uraraka smiled sadly at this. You did what you had to do, Uraraka reassured him. You protected me, and now we're both alive and moving. He's not, Ingenium answered. Well, maybe he's not. Uraraka laughed bitterly at her own words. But that doesn't mean what he tried to do is. What do you mean? Ingenium asked. What I mean, Uraraka's tone began to turn cheerful, is that we are the hero lovers. Maybe Deku is gone, but we could still avenge him. How? Ingenium asked. Who knows? Uraraka said. But do you really want to sit in a cell with nothing more to do than stare at a wall? Not really, Ingenium said. Do you want to go back and be a model citizen then? Uraraka questioned. Live by the rules and pretend none of this ever happened? Iida remembers the fun times he spent with Deku and Uraraka. He remembers the way the society stared at them as they captured them. He remembered Deku's stretched out hand when he needed it the most. Going back? Pretend none of this happened? A boiling bitter feeling started growing in the pit of his stomach. No, he answered. Yeah, I thought so, Uraraka said, a soft smile in her face. We are the hero lovers, after all, and there's no greater hero than Deku. Uraraka opened her mouth wide, and slowly she reached with her hands to the back of it. She counted exactly 5 teeth from her first fang. She breathed out through her nose and gripped the tooth tightly in between her thumbs and index. She pictured Deku smiling and pulled out the tooth. Blood began splashing in the ground, but Ochako couldn't care less. She tossed the tooth somewhere in the cell and reached for the small piece of paper stuck in her gums. That's our Deku, she smiled as she saw the world scribbled on them. Always thinking 3 steps ahead of everyone. You reached it? Ingenium asked. Of course I did. Uraraka smiled. And we thought we didn't need it. It's a good thing. Deku thought we might end up in jail at some point. Now we know how to get out of this hellhole. Todoroki sat down in his desk, the notebook Izuku had given him in front of him. If something happens to me, trust this, and only this. He opened the notebook, and the first thing he saw was a drawing of Kamino Woods. The handwriting was messy, and the doodles undefined. From what he could read, they were Izuku's notes on the hero's quirk and battle. He smiled a bit. He went through some of the pages, amazed by the detail in each person was described, and finally he reached All Might. Autograph, in bold black letters. What did Izuku mean by this? He turned the page. His eyes went wide. Villains' quirks. Villains' battle styles. More specifically, the League of Villains. There was so much information about the villains, their weaknesses, their strengths, what possible attacks could subdue them. Everything. On the border of the pages, little notes said, Save me, or Stop the Voices, could be read. The final page had a singular note scribbled on it. I don't think I could keep doing this. The voices are getting stronger and they're telling me to be a villain. Maybe I am. I promised myself I wouldn't kill the villains that killed my mom, but maybe I should die too. Beneath it, there was a plan. Everything in perfect detail. Everything perfectly calculated. Call the heroes. Call the villains. When they're all in one place, run and detonate the bomb. Everyone who killed my mom will be dead. Except me. Todoroki stared at the page. Were the villains already there when Izuku set the bomb off? Todoroki closed his hands into a fist. I can't take it anymore. I'm alive, but I'm going crazy. I always wanted to save someone, to be a hero. But I can't even save myself. I'm sorry. I wish someone would remember me. Not as a villain, not as a hero, but just as Izuku. Please remember me. Please, after this. I don't think I'll remember myself. Todoroki closed the notebook and felt the tears streaming down his face. What had he done? Home sweet home, Ochako said out loud as she got inside the arcade. She breathed in the smell of ashes and burnt computers. Tears collected in the corner of her eyes. Her home was destroyed. Nothing was left. Again. Now what? Find another place for it to be our base, Iida said, wondering what that could be. I think there's an abandoned warehouse near the river. A voice told them. Ochako turned around and glared. Well, if it isn't the little traitor, she said, sending a nasty look towards Todoroki. What do you want? Todoroki showed them the notebook in his hands. He gave it to you? Ochako asked, her eyes softening. Are you going to hand it to the heroes? I could, Todoroki said. But no, I don't want heroes to do this. I want to do this. To carry on his will. By myself. Good luck with that, Iida mocked. With your help. Todoroki finished. Iida and Ochako stared at each other. You want to become one of us? Iida asked. Todoroki nodded. Ochako couldn't hold back and burst into laughter. This is gold, she hollered. A hero wants to hang out with us? I can't? Todoroki asked. Uraraka wiped away her tears from the corner of her eyes. I get why he took a liking to you, Ochako said. She gave Iida a knowing look and stretched her hands towards Todoroki. Welcome to the hero lovers, Todoroki. Ochako gave him a cheery smile. Todoroki took her hands in his. It's a pleasure to be here, he said. From the pieces of the concrete fallen from the building, Todoroki managed to get an old hoodie. He recognized it as Izuku's. A flash of red crossed his eyes as the memories came flooding back. It's your power, Izuku had said. This is how he chose to use it. Without a second to hesitate, he tied it around his shoulders and turned to see Ochako. Let's kill the League of Villains. Momo! Mina cried as soon as she saw her friend get up. She had bandages all over her body, and she looked more dizzy than sane. You're awake! Mina. Momo called her friend's name, only to be horrified at the sight. What happened to you? Oh, this silly thing? Mina laughed bitterly, showing her scar. Apparently the knife went too deep into my arm and damaged the nerd. They said that there was no way I could move it again, so they amputated it. Almost stared at the place where Mina's arm should be. Nothing was there. Mina, she said in a low voice. Don't worry, May said she could make me a prosthetic, and I could kick some villain ass. Mina said in a strange, cheerful voice. I'm more worried about you. About me? Momo asked, as if the gears clicked. She gasped. Where is he? Where is who? Mina asked. The little green guy. Deku, was he? Momo asked and tried to get up. Okay, calm down. Mina reached for Momo to stop struggling. It's fine. The guy is dead. Momo paled. I killed him, Momo said, horrified. What? No, why would you think so? Mina asked. He took the last blow for me, Momo explained. Shigaraki was about to kill me, but he stepped in between. He promised him that he would give Shigaraki the heroes, and that's why we all managed to escape. If he hadn't, we would all be dead. Mina stared. What a strange guy, was all she could say. Todoroki stared at the notebook in his hands, the image of Izuku smiling in the convenience store still present fresh in his mind. He gripped it, tighter, feeling the tears threatening to spill down his cheeks. You know, that's his most precious possession, Ochako said, sitting down next to him, in the old train station. It wasn't home, but it would do. It has All Might's autograph in it. He still looks up to him. I should have done something, Todoroki said, dismissing Ochako's intent to hear him up. I could have done something, and I didn't. You can do something now, Uraraka said, her eyes glued to the wall. I could have saved him. You still can. Todoroki grimaced. How? He's gone. Well, that's what fates say. Ochako smiled. But didn't I tell you? We are the hero lovers. And? A hero isn't a god among men, Todoroki. Ochako closed her eyes, feeling a surge of hope trembling inside of her. A hero is a man who defines the fate. To me, only Izuku has defiled fate. He became a hero, even with no quirk. He escaped from the League of Villains. He refused to become a villain even when everyone said he was one. Her smile got bigger. In this universe, or in any, Izuku defies his fate. If fate decides he should be dead. She turns to Todoroki, her eyes filled with tears, but a hopeful smile in her face. Then he'll definitely defy it once again, she said. May those who follow fate be granted happiness. May those who defy fate be granted glory. Okay, so this is also chapter 11 because it's just an announcement talking about how there is a rewrite of Remember Me. I don't know, maybe one day he'll come back and I'll do the rewrite and then I'll also do the sequel, which there is a sequel. The sequel is still tagged as Todo Deku, so something tells me that Izuku does not die. And Izuku is tagged here. Something tells me Izuku doesn't die. I mean, the author did say that villains don't get a happy ending, but throughout the whole story was saying that Izuku's not a villain, but he's not a hero, but he's not a villain. So he's not a villain, therefore he does get a happy ending. I'm just saying! Look, I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I'm emotional. I'm very emotional. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe. Hold on. I gotta go to the initial, what's it called? Oh, I got 4 more inboxes. Let's see. Permanent ink, so this is love. Add-ons and ends. Yeah, okay. Everything's good. Alright. No, history. Here it is. Okay. Remember Me. Here it is. Remember Me. Is this chapter 1? Indeed, it is chapter 1. And then we're going to go to the comments. And then we're going to go all the way down. Oh yeah, they asked to do it. They just let me do that. Okay. So I will now ask them if I could do the sequel or the remake. I think it has the same name too. So I'll just say rewritten each time. Yep, you heard me, y'all. I'm gonna do that. So Remember Me, rewrite. Because I have also done the original one, so I have to do the rewrite. And then I'll do the continuation. But that is until they, you know, respond. So if they don't respond in time, I'm probably not gonna do it. But I like the subtle change you put into it, especially when Todoroki describes Izuku's voice and later on his father's. I look forward to more. Oh, is it like exactly? Is it exactly? Or There might be some changes here, so I'll just I don't know, maybe I'll copy paste. I'll redo it. I could redo it. Guys, I could redo it. This fic broke me. And if we get a little more time with Izuku, then so be it. I think it'll take a little bit for me to touch back on this, considering the fact that I literally just read it. Well, I could just go into it again. I wouldn't mind. There'd be less notes, definitely. So keep that in mind. A whole lot less notes. So where is it? Here it is. There it is. Here it is. I have to like change it. Hello, Podfic. You're thick before, and I'm wondering whether you give me permission to make this into a Podfic. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Same with the sequel to this. Even though that name of that sequel is giving me headaches. Is it French? I don't know if it's French or not. I don't know what it is. Hold on. What is it? Because yeah, from one lost person to another. And I love that name. I love that. It's 1010. It's pretty long. I think it's the same length as a book. So I'm going to do the rewrite, and then I'm going to do that one. And hopefully I could just do it right after this. Because if it's right after this, I'll just do the exact same layout of this. You heard that, guys. Except I think I'll have the rewrite be in its own little post, because it's a rewrite. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.